Vedam, Chapter 3, Part 2. Teacher, what will happen if the Dushkritam that comes out of the mind does not originate at all? Disciple, it will be Sukritam only. Teacher, what Sukritam means? Disciple, it is a state to unite with God. Teacher, then where is God in us? Disciple, God is above in us. Teacher, God is above in us, but above us there is head. In that God is existing. If one must merge and be one single state with that God, above him in his head he must be in one single gati with God. That is said to be as Punyotkrishta. Punyotkrishta Sarisas are Ishvara. That is Sariras who virtue reached the highest point. They are Ishvara. That is why it is said that the king is of divine origin, the Punyotkrishta. So, when one who leaves off the evil deeds arising from within gets into one single gati, with gods up above in his head, his virtue attains the highest point and he becomes the king. Suppose a person whom you call Chandala would become like that as said above, then what would he be? Disciple, he will be the king. Teacher, so is there a separate creation of being called kings? Disciple, no. Teacher, so how does a person become a king? Disciple, by his own endeavors. Teacher, it is like this. Our self-energy always spreads out, gets impressed upon various things and lies embarrassed into moha. When that self-energy, without getting spread out and embarrassed upon anything, comes into one single gati, so as to reach the self itself, the source of origin, birthplace, that alone is the state called kingship. Instead of this, the state of whom we consider as king is that established by conquering all the properties, being equally entitled to all the lists spread throughout the world on the principle that might is right, and by creating ranks and respects. It is like this. If somebody became extraordinarily brave and earned public influence, he would arrest and blind the rest of the people who beat and drive them, would compel them by force that people must obey him. He would be the king. All must act in ignorance with his words, etc. Would thus make them slaves and would subdue the rule over them. Those who are now known to be kings, lords, and rich men are like this. For example, the leader of Mofa rebellion, which took place in Malabar on 1921, was on Kunhi Ahmed Haji. He was a known depredator, being given imprisonment once or twice by the government. Suppose he earned much public influence, and thus he grew powerful, thereby waging war with the government of India and began to harass cruelly, arrest, blind, and drive away the people. If all of the subject being afraid of were found subdued and subjected to him, what did he be called? Disciple, he would be called king. Teacher, so this kingship a special creation of God or direct result of being waked? Disciple, it is the direct result of being waked. Teacher, so it is because of not knowing what Sukritam and Dushkritam mean, it has been misunderstood. Dushkritam is getting contaminated and destroyed. That is the distraction of Sukritam. If so, suppose somebody becomes bedridden, then do you call him a man Sukritam or a man of Dushkritam? Disciple, a man of Dushkritam. Teacher, that cannot be said so. The reason is, if Sukritam becomes exit, one dies out. That is why it is said if Punyam ends, one becomes dead. Does not the person fallen sick have jiva within himself? He is not at all dead. Papam means being bereft of the energy. Does not that person have divine energy at that time when he is bedridden? If there is no divine energy, one becomes equal to within all. Only then it is said to be Papam. Papam is that which being bereft of the divine energy, yet the jiva exhausted from it. Nature itself is Ishvara. That is the punyam. It is told that the substance punyam becomes exhausted and sets, just like mist, in the disk of the moon, yet it is correct. It is because moon means mind. Moon's disk is the region of mind. Mist means vapor, being the water. That is, it is the smoke of thought. Hence, by the thoughts of this, that, etc., the punyam means the jiva gets exhausted in the region of mind, the moon's disk. Only then one becomes dead. That is why it is said that the punyam ends and gets into one's moon's disk and equal to mist and sets there. What is the end thus? Disciple, it is the punyam, being the jiva.